Welcome and welcome back to the channel, Change Makers. My name is Kira Siva. I am a spiritual mentor and healer, and today we are unpacking your fall breakthrough. It is that beautiful seasonal change in the air, and it is time for another amazing breakthrough to happen in your life. So go ahead and take a deep breath in. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Connect with your intuition and choose which pile calls out to you. We will go ahead and get started with pile number 1. All right, let us dive in. I'm so excited about this. So, up here in your tarot spread, you have this very painful inspiration theme going on. So your big breakthrough this fall is you have been going through this back and forth of being the mental negative thoughts. Maybe you have depression or anxiety, or you just you're feeling overwhelmed and overburdened, and it's causing sadness and grief. This Five of Cups card, she looks she's so bummed out. She is just so bummed out. So she's bummed out and then inspired. And then racking her brains and then inspired. And here in the center, we have the reverse justice. So it's balancing. You're actually learning how to balance the ups and downs of life and really feel detached from that. And you're also overcoming some lifelong patterns and belief systems that have really held you down and held you back. There is this really big element to your reading that is very much about, like we see here in this full moon card, to just step back and take a look at the bigger picture. We also see this in the Two of Wands. Whenever I see this card, it always makes me feel like whoever you are is the viewer must have some level of mastermind ability to plan, to conceptualize bigger concepts, to really look at life from... You see how she's looking at a literal map of the world? You have that ability to have a really elevated level of perspective. So while some people might get really stuck in the mundane, you actually have the ability to understand, okay, this mundane thing is happening, but when I look at the overarching pattern, or if I look at what it, up here and what it is to be in a human life, and what is the cultural story going on, and what is the overarching story going on in my life. You just have this ability to look far. The vision that they're giving me, that your spirit guides are giving me, is being in an airplane, and when you see you're in the clouds in the airplane, and then there's all the tiny little landscapes. So these big massive rivers are now so little. These towns with towering buildings are now so little, right? And they're pointing this out because this is your breakthrough. Your breakthrough is to understand from these higher perspectives and to actually ground your consciousness into these higher perspectives. One of the things I love about studying spirituality, and that has been just so apparent to me time and time and time again in the most funny and ironic and sometimes just what, of course, ways, is that the universe is this is the rule 100% of the time except for this time. And it very much feels like that. So they're pointing this out to me because they want you to understand that you have the kind of consciousness that can handle that. Not everybody can do that. And I know I referenced that a little bit earlier, but not everybody can understand the enormity of things and the minute detail of things. They don't understand, when they look up in the night sky and they see the entirety of space, and they recognize and have a realization they're looking out into outer space, out into the cosmos. They're seeing stars that are trillions of light years away. They're seeing stars that probably have planets around them, and that's what you see when you see the stars. And at the same time, sitting on the ground, playing with like rocks and gravel in their hand, right? So you see like the spread of seeing the really huge, the really enormous things, the really super high cosmic things, and then also being really connected to these tiny details. Up here, I feel is like your main message. So your breakthrough when you are overcoming these negative mental patterns is to find, so you get stuck in your head and you're like, how do I get out of this head thing? Because she just said I could have really big, how do I get out of being a little human? Because she just said I could be this really expansive perspective. You want to go to your inspiration. You are looking for your spark. Sometimes you can do this. They're bringing up Bashar. You know how Bashar talks? If you haven't looked him up, you can look him up. But he channels an alien entity. But one of their main messages is follow your joy. You just do things that you can to the maximum of your joy, and then you go on to your next. That's like the idea here. So if you get stuck in your head, look for your joy. You get stuck in your head, look for that little tingle in your heart, the little spark of joy, the little spark of inspiration. And even if it's a tiny little seed, go for that. Look for that. Meditation can also help with that, or doing creative things, spending time in nature, meditating, journaling. You know all the things because there's, a billion videos out there about all that stuff. But look for that spark. Go to a dark sky park. Check out the stars. That'll give you some serious spark. All right, and then over here, when you get stuck in heavier feelings, the word grief keeps coming up, like grief, depression, disappointment, letdown, sadness. She just looks bummed. When you get bummed out, that's the point when you want to step and look again at a higher perspective. So the things that you find really, really challenging in your current circumstances, instead of looking at these things as these like itemized details, look at the entire picture. So look at, if you're looking at one area of your life and you're like, I'm just not making progress here and I feel so depressed, like I'm so bummed, this is so hard. Just look at the entirety of your life, of all of the different areas of your life, your relationships, your health, your relationship with yourself, just all of those different categories. You can look at that, or you can also reach for the higher perspective of your soul's perspective. So instead of just saying, I'm this little human, these are my problems, I don't know how to break free from these problems, step into that space that says, well, okay, like this incarnation, yes, is this little human and they've got their little problems, or big, they feel big to this person, right? Big problems, but they're little problems. Who is really the soul operating the incarnation? Let me try to explain that in a different way. So instead of looking at the perspective of your life as, my name is XYZ, I have XYZ problems, detach from that and then look at your life as, I am this soul. This is what has been revealed to me so far in my journey about the truth of who I am. Now, for some of you out there, you've had experiences. I know that you are out there, that you're a healer, you're a teacher, you came here to make an impact, that you are stardust, that you are an essential core piece of the cosmos. You have had experiences from these really big soul places. With every fiber of your being, you've had experiences of being the unconditional love, right? So instead of just playing into the labels of your little human incarnation character, look at the perspective of your life from the word's bigger incarnation, but from your soul. Like, okay, well, the soul is eternal, and pull from your personal experiences that you have had, those soul experiences. Like, you would not be on my channel if you had not had soul experiences. I guarantee that, because sometimes we go really, really deep into very ethereal cosmic meanderings here. So check out this stuff from the very elevated perspective. You see how she's going from like disappointed, depressed, grief to like there's fire. Like, okay, this stuff's hard, but in the bigger picture of things, like I have a mission to do and I'm here to complete that. Over here in the Cosmic Egg, if you have watched any of my other videos, you know I often use the goddess cards to really fully show the energy of what you are bringing. You are bringing that you are holding the universe within me, and you are a force of ever expanding love. I also see this as the potentiality or the it's like you are a being that is bringing through some of the most pure energy possible, like the pure soul energy onto the planet. They just kind of want to keep saying like infinite possibilities. Let's see if I can speak. It's like when you look at life from a soul perspective and you think, okay, well, if this is one incarnation out of thousands or millions, then what is really the size of these things? And then what's really the possibility of what incarnations can be and what can happen and yada, yada, yada. Or if you're into timelines or if you're into quantum jumping, like this is that stepping back. It's really like this big detachment from just the regular human perspective and going much bigger timelines, much bigger things. Okay, this is getting really long. I'm so sorry. We're going to get to these cards. So again, this is coming down to tending the small things. So we have this really huge perspective shift. What they are telling me is these are the mentalities or like the life lessons that are going to help you flip these scripts. So you're going to flip to positivity. You're going to take this negativity and you're going to flip to positivity. You're going to take this balance card and you're going to be able to flip it. The ability to take negative energy and to flip it into positive energy is a gift to yourself and to the world. So the first thing you need to do is remember that you are a cunning little fox. Think on your feet. So be present in the moment and trust in your intuition and your spiritual guidance. The koi fish spirit, there is always enough. This is really about feeling that sense of abundance. So it's possible that you may feel stuck in certain areas of your life. Just remember you are smart enough. You have the capabilities to get yourself out of the problems you're in, and there's always enough. So there's always enough abundance, there's enough answers, there's enough resources. Fall back into that. Then over here we have tend to the small things and time to let go. This is really about, you are able to hold that cosmic space and also appreciate that you are holding tiny little rocks in your hand, right? So, and also sometimes the answer to getting to very large things in our life is by doing very small things. They're telling me to tell you to recognize the tiny and small instances where you have grown, where you have shifted, where you have chosen better. And you don't have to be perfect. Maybe you chose better 50% of the time, maybe 40% of the time. It doesn't matter. Every single time that you have made a little shift, do your best, try to remember it, write it down, put it in a voice note, just contemplate it, right? Because those tiny moments add up to very large shifts. And then in Groundhog Spirit, it is time to let go. So part of being able to flip the energy from negative to positive is the ability to allow the negative energy to go from your life, to allow the negative feelings and thoughts to leave. That doesn't mean you need to erase the negative patterns. It just means that, you're like, okay, I feel really heartbroken today. Am I willing to let that go right now? No. Okay. And 15 minutes later, I feel really heartbroken today. Am I willing to let that go right now? Yes. Good. Moment to flip. And you will feel it physically. You will feel it in your energy system, how the energy flips for you. Okay, this has been longer than normal, but pile number 1, I hope that you like this and that you got a lot out of it. Please click the subscribe button and the like and leave me a comment because it's free and helps me out like you wouldn't believe. And if you are interested in diving deeper into your personal world, I do have private readings open for you. And until next time, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Pile number 2. Okay, let's dive into your fall breakthrough. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay. The queen energy, the divine feminine energy is so freaking strong in this pile. Let's dive into it. So all of these cards, this card, this one, and this one, the koala, the owl, and the coyote spirit, all for me really represent that wise crone energy. These are women who have seen things, have lived life. Like, these are the women in your communities that you go to ask for advice. And when they give it to you, it is always spot on. Sometimes it stings, but it's like the best kind of reality check possible. So I have goosebumps all over my arms from even just saying that. Your female spirit guides are here right now and very present, and they want to tell you your breakthrough is that you are going to be receiving your crown, your literal crown. That was the first thing they also pointed out to me. Even though, like, these two don't necessarily have a crown, the whole vibe and the word was just like crowned. These all have crowns. The owl has a crown. The queen has a crown. She's got a crown. Like, her whole life is just, royalty. She's the empress. We also have the Queen of Swords, the Emperor, and the Empress. So you are really getting, it's almost like Mother Divine herself is going to show herself to you. There is a concept in the Vedic tradition called darshan, where you see the Divine Mother with your 2 eyes. Because typically when people are experiencing spirits and deities, it's very much more of ethereal, or it's in the mind's eye. So what she's saying is she's coming to you. She's coming to you right now. Mother Divine is coming to you personally right now, and you will also be crowned in your full, glorious mother energy. Even over here in the full moon in Gemini, it's two women. I can't even talk. I'm just so overwhelmed. It's the energy itself is regal. It's golden. It's clear, like crystalline clear. It's luxurious. Like, I'm feeling like sort of like liquid, but almost like a runny kind of honey. A sweet nectar, the amruta. The amruta is so beautiful. You're the only pile that got 2 goddess cards, and these ones came out. They were on a mission. They had something to say. If you watch my other readings, you know I typically use goddess cards to embody the energy that is fully coming through. This top one is telling you this actually one of your spirit guides. She is protecting you. She is such an intense dynamite. You see these spikes? Like, just so you know, no one will be touching you. If you're facing challenging things right now, we see that over here in the swords. You don't even need to worry about it. Like, you don't even need to think bad thoughts about the people chasing you or the negative circumstances in your life, because she literally is warding off All evil. I don't usually use the word evil, but that's like the word that they're giving me. All evil. She is taking care of all of the evil in your life. Maybe you have been getting the evil eye. Maybe you have people talking about you. It doesn't matter, because she is like cutting them out. Also, look at these swords. We just got, you have like you are so fiercely protected so that you can be in the bliss. You have sharp spikes around you, warding off all of the negativity so that you can enjoy the sunrise in the spring of your life. Now down here, I also feel like you have a council of women for your guides. You know that image? That's kind of, it's probably a while ago, but it's like all of the grandmothers and mothers and maidens like surrounding the earth, and they're all praying. That's the image that they're giving me. Like, you are surrounded by a council of beings that have more feminine attributes, and they are strongly guiding you. In the other pile, these meant different things, but your spirit guides are like, they're telling me this is one of your spirit guides. She is a badass older woman who has been through a lot. She takes no BS from anything, and she is here to help you own that really strong strategic part of yourself. The owl spirit is a little softer. She is really here. She's showing me like elegance and grace and how to really enjoy the softer things in life. Like, we live in such a harsh world that sometimes we need that softness around us, whether it's the soft clothes or we need environments that have soft textures to them. Like, she is just showing you, here is how you be fully soft while also taking no BS from anybody. And then over here in the coyote spirit, this is always one for me where she's like, I always associate it with trickiness, but she's a little more playful and like, she's showing you how to like play in manifestation. You know, part of spirituality really is just relaxation and laughing and having a good time, and like the amount that you can learn and understand when you are just, yeah, I'm like really into this thing and just bopping along, having a good time. That's where she's like really helping you. So she's a lot more stern, she's a lot more soft, and she is a lot more playful. Now the goddess of light, this is like what you are emanating. You are emanating that we are all sacred mirrors reflecting back the same light. But what's really drawing me here is when you are in this state where you feel like you're like, I am a queen, I am protected and safe, I can be my authentic self, there is a natural kind of radiance, there is a natural kind of contentment that just emanates. And that emanating energy is affecting the world around you. I know we have the Two of Cups and the Seven of Swords, but these seem like such small things compared to everything. Like, in this, I don't know how I didn't recognize, this is the Strength Heart. So it's a stone of strength. It's got the word strength, and it's in the shape of a heart. This just totally sums up like the whole reading right there. Because ultimately, your breakthrough is to fully embody your love, is to be comfortable in your life, is to feel safe and protected, and to just enjoy it. Your breakthrough is to just be able to enjoy life. You have worked so stinking hard. You have done everything you possibly could do. You have developed yourself, and it doesn't mean you have to stop doing those things or wanting to improve, but you get to enjoy the fulfillment of having just elevated who you are. You know, you have done the personal growth, you have mastered those emotions, you have done, you know, all of these things, and because of that, Mother Divine is coming to you. She's coming to you. and she is going to show herself to you. I'm so excited for you. If she does, it could come in so many different ways. You could have something like darshan. You could have something like special animals that you see. You could have these moments in nature where you just, like, you either are standing outside, just regular city, or you're out in nature and you just have these moments where you're like, I feel like I'm talking to the entirety of nature and it's talking back. And it doesn't usually talk like in words. It's like the symphony of life that is moving around you is sending you a message, and you are so spot on with receiving that message that you can fully understand it. I'm going to try to say that again. The symphony of life around you, when you engage with that, you feel like you are fully able to connect with that symphony, and that symphony of life around you is sending you messages back. You may hear them in the English language or whatever language that you speak naturally, but more likely, just like how our bodies don't speak in English, you will be able to understand the symphony around you. You'll hear it on a soul level. You hear it. You will feel her on a soul level. You will feel her in your energy. I'm so excited for you. If this happens for you, please come back to this video and leave a comment of like a star or a mountain, something, I don't know, fireworks, because that to me is a transcendence stage. Like you will have understood a really important cosmic relationship that so many people have to work through so much stuff to understand and get, but you are getting it because Mother Divine is exceptionally happy with you. Whatever you have done, keep doing it and pat yourself on the back, because you will be receiving all of the rewards of everything that you have done. You have done a stellar, outstanding job, and you could have a personal relationship with Mother Divine in the most beautiful way, in very tangible ways, because when she comes, she's going to let you know, and she can come in any deity that you love. She might come in deities that you didn't even know that you loved. Like, there's so many possibilities. I am so thrilled for you. I am so thrilled for you. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, pile number 2. If you like this reading, this is what I see for you. Feel free to like and subscribe and leave a comment. It's all free and helps out the channel like you wouldn't believe. And honestly, I'm so excited for you. So I hope this works out really beautifully for you. And I would love to hear your stories, because these are the kind of things that make life so cool. All right, pile number 2. You already have a blessed day. You're like well ahead of a ton of people. Good luck with that. And until next time, have a beautiful and blessed day. Number 3. All right. Woo! You are quite a whirlwind. Let's go ahead and dive into this. You have up here in your tarot cards, the King of Swords, the World, the Devil, the Fool, Judgment, and Authenticity. I feel like your pile, the energetic feeling to it is just like packing a punch. And this is a transformational pile. You are deeply transforming at the core of your self-concept, of who you are, of how you relate to your life and the world. And at the same time, I feel like there's just so much going on for you. So much going on for you. And ultimately, it is going to lead you to being a more authentic version of yourself. So your simplified answer, your breakthrough this fall is you are going to be fully embodying more and more and more of your authenticity, and you are on a journey to get there, which is absolutely incredible. So let's, I love all these. A new moon and eclipse, expect powerful changes. So you are like diving deep into the oceans of transformation. You are, going out on a new adventure, letting these new pieces and parts of you emerge, and at the same time confronting the shadow, diving into that shadow, reclaiming the power that's lost, pulling the energy back from outside of you, and literally just transforming, getting more freedom, being more authentically you, doing things that you want to do. This is a power-packed group. Like all of you out there, whew. I have some of my spiritual teachings talks about the 4 stages of your spiritual awakening. One of them is the deconstruction process, where you take everything down. Like imagine your belief system as a house, and you are just going in there with your crowbar, with your sawzall, with your sledgehammer, and you are just tearing it down. And it's hard and it's painful, and like things come up in your life that you're like, oh, I have to tear that down too. That we see in the devil energy here. But at the same time, as you tear that down, you are becoming so much more liberated. And then when you clear that out, you tear down a wall, you put the stuff in the trash that you don't want anymore, and now you have this open space, and you can create from there, and you can envision a new world, and you can change the layout of your house. And I call that second stage the emerging stage, right? So you have this destruction, you have this facing the shadow and the darkness, and at the same time, there's something really beautiful emerging. And the image that your spirit guides are giving me is the little plant that's coming out of the burned down ashes. Take that metaphorically, right? So you have the deconstruction process, you have the emerging process, you have the shaping process, and the shaping process is where 2 of these things are really important in that part. This is a crash course in transformation in less than 5 minutes. Part of that process is watch your words. So when you have something new emerging, you really connect with your joy, you connect with your inspiration, and you let those things lead your life experience. You go out and you try new things that you never thought you would try, just for the sake of trying them. You brush your teeth with your left hand, you drive places in a different route, you take classes you would have never normally taken, you learn about things that you never really thought about learning about. And the whole point of that is just to give yourself some different opportunities of literally just trying new things and seeing life from different perspectives. When you get into the shaping stage, the things that have emerged, you've kind of weeded through. I like doing this thing, I didn't like doing that thing. This thing feels more like me, and I felt called to it, and I felt good about it, and I'm gonna walk in that direction. Watching your words during the shaping stage is when you are shaping your new life. And I always imagine that as somebody, you've got the clay in your hands, and you've got the material that you want, right? You learn the stuff from the emerging stage, you've got that feedback, you've got the material you want, and now you're giving it form. Does it have curves? Does it have a handle? Like, what are you even making? Like, what's your desire to even make something, right? So this is where you watch your words, and you also really want to have a beginner's mindset. If you believe that you know everything about everything, you will learn nothing. But if you trust that there is a lot of stuff to learn out there, and even if you know a lot of stuff, that you too can have a beginner mindset, you're actually going to gain a ton of wisdom. And so this process of transformation, the deconstruction, tearing the house down, the emerging, allowing that joy to emerge from the destruction, right? And then the shaping, taking the information that you got from the emerging stage and starting to form it into this dream life vision. You have to use a lot of discernment. You have to be able to really, and by the time you get to the shaping stage of your transformation, you will be on point with your intuition because you will have used it so much. But ultimately, you get into what I call the embodying stage. And that's when you do these things that you've always wanted to do so second nature that one, they naturally create the life that you want, and two, you don't have to put work into things. And my example for that is compassion. When you start out, say you had a ton of heart damage, like a ton of heartbreak earlier on in your life, and you go through this transformation process, and you tear down your house of what you believe love is, and your self-worth or your unworthiness of it, and your shame and your guilt, and you deconstruct all of that stuff, and you learn step by step how to love yourself deeply and truly and authentically again. At some point, and you learn how to love other people. Like you used to have a really closed off heart, and now you're like, you practice going out and just sending love to people, right? At some point, that becomes so second nature that when somebody comes before you that's a really challenging character, you know yourself so well that you're like, okay, this person is just trying to get a rise out of me, whatever, don't need to worry about that. And then you're like, okay, well, this person's clearly in pain, so I'm going to give them love. I'm going to give them love because they're clearly here in front of me asking for love. Otherwise, why would they have that attitude? So it's this really, it's so good. It's this really pure way of knowing yourself. And it's this really deep and profound shift in the way that you relate to who you are and how you are and your dreams and what you can and cannot accomplish. And ultimately, this leads back to you understanding through this whole cycle, this 4 steps, deconstruction, emerging, shaping, and embodying. You learn through all of those stages, all of that kind of circular growth, who you truly are. The most authentic version of who you truly are. And ultimately, you get the world because of that. You get the world, you get clarity, and your life, you've had to work hard to get your life to be beautiful, but your life also is naturally beautiful. It's really, really, it has to be, because you are the embodiment of love at that point. You are so fully connected with the realization of the truth of who you are, the experience of your soul and the nature of your soul and how it fits into the nature of reality, that everything just flows. It flows, and it's really, really beautiful. So pile number 3, this is what I see for you. What a freaking profound, profound reading. And also oh my goodness. Good luck on your transformation. And if you want any more videos on this 4, stages or cycles of this transformation process, let me know. I could talk about it all day. There's tons of stuff to go into it in depth, but that is the crash course on how transformation happens and what you are doing, because you are doing massively huge work, and you should feel proud of yourself for that. And go look in the mirror and love yourself for that, because it's awesome. I love you. You love you. Spirit loves you. Okay, pile number 3. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. This will help out so much. And until next time, pile number 3, I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day.